In the heart of ancient alchemy, there lies a secret, whispered through the ages, concealed in cryptic symbols, and shrouded in mystery: the Philosopher's Stone. For centuries, this elusive artifact has sparked curiosity, fueling legends of immortality and boundless wealth. But what if the true meaning of the Philosopher's Stone is not a physical object at all, but a gateway to something far greater, an invitation to transcendence? Imagine a world where human potential knows no limits, where the mundane becomes divine, and where the alchemical process is not simply about turning lead into gold, but about transforming the very essence of being. The Philosopher's Stone, often portrayed as a myth, is more than just a legend. It is a profound symbol of personal transformation, a mystical blueprint that holds the keys to unlocking a higher state of consciousness. But what does it truly represent? Is it a treasure hidden in ancient tombs, waiting to be discovered, or is it a deeper, spiritual mystery embedded within our own nature? In this exploration, we will journey beyond the popular myths, diving deep into the esoteric, philosophical, and spiritual layers of this enigmatic symbol. From ancient texts to hidden teachings, we will uncover the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone and what it truly means for those who seek a deeper understanding of themselves and the universe. Through a blend of history, alchemy, and spiritual insight, we will explore how the stone's meaning transcends time and culture. We will dive into the ancient wisdom that has shaped the stone's symbolism and unravel how it can illuminate a path toward inner transformation. But be warned, this journey is not for the faint of heart. It will challenge your perception of reality, pushing you to question what you thought you knew and to awaken to the mysteries that lie dormant within you. So, let us begin, for the Philosopher's Stone is waiting to reveal its ancient secret. The question is, are you ready to discover it? To understand the true essence of the Philosopher's Stone, we must first trace its origins, those shadowy depths where myth intertwines with history. The concept of the stone is deeply embedded in the ancient traditions of alchemy, yet its roots reach far deeper, stretching back to the birth of human civilization itself. In the heart of Egypt, long before the philosophers of Greece or the mystics of the East, the practice of alchemy began as a sacred art. It was believed that the gods themselves had bestowed upon humanity the knowledge to transform not only the material world but the very soul. The ancient Egyptians, with their profound understanding of the divine, used alchemy as a means to purify the spirit and elevate the consciousness of the initiate. The Philosopher's Stone, however, was not simply a tool for material wealth, but a key to unlock the hidden mysteries of existence. From these ancient Egyptian teachings, the mystery of the stone spread westward to Greece, where it became a cornerstone of esoteric thought. The Greeks, particularly the early philosophers such as Pythagoras and Plato, spoke of an ultimate unity, a divine essence that permeated all things. This unity was reflected in their alchemical beliefs, where transformation was seen as a process of aligning oneself with a divine order. In this context, the Philosopher's Stone was not just a mystical artifact, but a symbol of the soul's journey towards enlightenment. Yet, it is in the Middle Ages that the Philosopher's Stone truly begins to take on its legendary status. It was during this time that alchemists like Hermes Trismegistus and Paracelsus became the guardians of this ancient knowledge. They claimed that the stone could transmute base metals into gold and grant eternal life, powers that captured the imaginations of kings, scholars, and mystics alike. But this was not the stone's true meaning. The gold it produced was symbolic, representing the spiritual gold found within the human soul after undergoing the alchemical process of purification and self-realization. In the Hermetic tradition, which combines the wisdom of Egypt, Greece, and Christianity, the stone represents the union of opposites, the reconciliation of the material and spiritual realms. It embodies the concept of as above, so below, where the physical world mirrors the spiritual. The Philosopher's Stone, then, is the culmination of the alchemist's journey, the final step in the process of spiritual purification and self-actualization. This dual nature of the stone, both material and spiritual, has confounded seekers for centuries. Is it a literal object, hidden away in forgotten chambers, Or is it a metaphor for inner transformation? Ancient texts suggest the latter, offering cryptic clues to those wise enough to understand. But for much of history, these secrets have been kept hidden, passed down in whispers and symbols, safeguarded by those initiated into the deeper mysteries. And so, the true meaning of the Philosopher's Stone has remained shrouded in secrecy, not because it is unattainable, but because it must be earned. Only those who are willing to undergo the alchemical transformation within themselves can hope to uncover its hidden truths. It is a journey not of gold or immortality in the physical sense, but of mastery over one's own nature, unlocking a profound connection to the divine. As we stand on the edge of this ancient knowledge, we must ask ourselves, what are we truly seeking in our pursuit of the Philosopher's Stone? The answer, as with all wisdom, lies within. The stone's mysteries are not to be found in distant lands or ancient tombs, but in the depths of the self. Now that we've ventured into the historical and philosophical landscape of the Philosopher's Stone, it's time to explore its deeper layers. But let us be clear, to understand the true meaning of the stone is not to simply unlock an ancient secret, but to awaken something profound within ourselves. The journey into its mysteries is both external and internal, an exploration that begins within the mind and heart of the seeker. The Philosopher's Stone is often described as a mystical catalyst, one capable of transforming the base into the sublime, the ordinary into the extraordinary. Yet, these descriptions, though evocative, only scratch the surface. The real mystery is not found in the external powers ascribed to the stone, but in the process by which it leads the seeker towards self-realization. At its core, the Philosopher's Stone represents the process of transmutation, the transformation of one substance into another. But in the esoteric traditions, this transformation is not confined to matter alone. The true alchemical process is an inner journey, where the base metals of human nature, greed, fear, ignorance, and illusion, are transmuted into higher qualities: wisdom, love, clarity, and enlightenment. In the alchemical work, this transformation takes place through a series of stages known as the Great Work, or Magnum Opus. These stages are mapped out in symbolic and metaphorical terms, with each representing a step toward the realization of the Philosopher's Stone within. The stages, calcination, dissolution, conjunction, and coagulation, are as much psychological processes as they are alchemical operations. Let's begin with calcination, the burning away of impurities. Just as gold must be heated in a crucible to remove its imperfections, the seeker must confront their own flaws and false identities. This stage can be painful, for it involves a deep self-examination and a willingness to shed the illusions of ego. It's a trial by fire, a purification of the soul. Yet, it is only through this destruction of the old self that the possibility of transformation arises. Next comes dissolution, the breaking down of rigid structures. In alchemical terms, this is the moment when the solid and fixed, the ego, the material world, dissolve into the fluid and formless. The seeker must learn to let go of attachment, not just to external things, but to internal narratives, old beliefs and limiting paradigms. It is here that the ego is loosened from its grip on the soul, and the seeker is freed to explore new possibilities. This is the stage of surrender, a willingness to dissolve into the vastness of being, to dissolve into the unknown. From this dissolution emerges conjunction, the stage where opposites are united. In alchemy, this often refers to the joining of the masculine and feminine principles, the sun and the moon, the spirit and the body. In the philosophical context, it represents the union of the conscious and unconscious mind, the integration of all aspects of the self. The Philosopher's Stone is born here, not as a singular object, but as a balanced harmony of polarities. It is the marriage of the divine and the human, the meeting of heaven and earth. It's a state of equilibrium, where duality ceases to exist, and the seeker has transcended the limitations of linear thinking. Finally, there is coagulation, the reformation of the self, the crystallization of wisdom from the chaos of dissolution. It is the creation of a new, purified self, fully aligned with the divine essence. The Philosopher's Stone is now fully formed, not as an external object, but as an internal state of being. It is the realization of one's true nature, immortal, unchanging, and free. This entire process, though described in stages, is not linear. It is cyclical. One must return to earlier stages, refining and deepening their understanding at each turn. Just as the alchemist must revisit the crucible again and again, so too must the seeker of wisdom continue their inner work, ever transforming, ever evolving. But even as we explore these stages, a deeper question remains. What does this mean for us in our lives today? The Philosopher's Stone was never meant to be a mere philosophical curiosity or an object of unattainable fantasy. Its real meaning lies in its ability to guide us through our own personal alchemical processes, allowing us to transform our understanding of life, death, and everything in between. It is not the gold we seek, but the wisdom and clarity that come with mastering our own inner nature. This process is timeless, and it is waiting for us to step into it, to unlock the alchemy of our own soul. But as we continue to peel back the layers of this ancient mystery, there are even deeper insights waiting to be discovered. What if the true power of the Philosopher's Stone is not just about spiritual transformation? What if it holds the key to understanding the very fabric of existence itself? Let us continue this journey, for the path forward is still shrouded in mystery. If the Philosopher's Stone is not merely a mystical legend or an alchemical fantasy, but a hidden key to reality itself, what does this imply about the nature of existence? What if the ancients were not speaking in riddles, but in carefully encoded truths, waiting for those with a vision to decipher them? To fully grasp the magnitude of the Philosopher's Stone, we must look beyond individual transformation and consider its implications on the cosmic scale. Alchemy, after all, is not merely a science of metals, it is the science of the universe itself. The great work mirrors the great cycles of nature, the formation of galaxies, the birth and death of stars. Could it be that the entire fabric of existence is engaged in an eternal process of transmutation? In many mystical traditions, the physical world is described as an illusion, an ever-changing dance of energy and consciousness. From the perspective of the ancient Hermeticists, everything in the universe is in a constant state of flux, shifting between different levels of reality. The Philosopher's Stone, in this grand context, becomes a metaphor for the fundamental principle that unites all things, the ability to ascend beyond the limits of form, to evolve beyond the constraints of matter. But how is this principle encoded in our reality? Consider the fractal nature of the cosmos, how the micro mirrors the macro, how the growth of a tree resembles the branching of neurons, how the spiral of a seashell echoes the swirling arms of galaxies. What if the Philosopher's Stone is not an object, but a fundamental pattern, an underlying blueprint for transformation itself? This brings us to one of the most profound secrets of esoteric thought, the idea that consciousness itself is the true medium of alchemy. The ancient alchemists spoke in cryptic symbols because they understood that the real transmutation does not occur in the laboratory alone, but within the fabric of perception itself. The gold they sought was not merely a precious metal, but the refinement of awareness, the realization of unity beyond duality. This aligns with the teachings of many spiritual traditions, from Eastern mysticism to Western esotericism. In Hinduism, the concept of the spiritual fire, Agni, purifying the soul mirrors the stage of calcination. In Taoism, the harmonization of yin and yang reflects the conjunction phase. Even the Gnostic texts hint at the idea that salvation comes not through external means, but through inner gnosis, a direct experience of the divine reality. One of the most persistent misconceptions about the Philosopher's Stone is that it is something to be acquired. The true revelation is that it is something to be realized. It is not an external substance, but an internal awakening. This is why the stone is often described as existing everywhere, yet nowhere. It is the ultimate paradox. It cannot be sought, yet it can be found. It is hidden, yet always present. So, what does this mean for us? If the Philosopher's Stone is a symbol of the highest potential of consciousness, then its true power lies in its ability to elevate our perception. It is not simply a key to immortality in the literal sense, but a key to transcending the illusions of time and space. It represents the awareness that life itself is the great work, and that every moment is an opportunity for transmutation. And yet, the mystery deepens. If the Philosopher's Stone is a symbol of absolute transformation, could it be that it holds the key not only to the evolution of the individual but of civilization itself? The alchemists believed that as above, so below, as within, so without. If an individual can attain enlightenment through the great work, could humanity as a whole undergo a similar process? This is the question that has lingered in the minds of the great mystics and visionaries throughout history. The quest for the Philosopher's Stone is ultimately the quest for the next stage of human evolution, a leap in consciousness, a transformation of perception, a shift in reality itself. But how can we bring this understanding into our daily lives? How can we apply the wisdom of the ancients in a world that seems so far removed from their sacred teachings? In the next section, we will explore the practical applications of this hidden knowledge, how the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone can be woven into our thoughts, actions, and experiences, so that we may begin our own alchemical journey toward transformation. You said, if the Philosopher's Stone is the key to transformation, not just of metals, but of the soul, then how can we apply its principles in our daily lives? How do we, as modern seekers, engage in this alchemical process to refine our awareness, elevate our consciousness, and undergo the great work within ourselves? The truth is, the process of spiritual alchemy has never been confined to medieval laboratories or dusty tomes. It is alive in every moment, in every choice we make, and in every challenge we face. The ancients did not merely seek a miraculous stone, they sought a method of being, a way of engaging with reality that turns suffering into wisdom, ignorance into understanding, and limitation into boundless potential. Step 1. The fire of calcination. Burn away the false self. The first step of the great work is calcination, the burning away of impurities. This is the fire that consumes everything we think we are, our ego, our attachments, our false identities. In practical terms, this means facing our deepest fears, our limiting beliefs, and the illusions that keep us bound. Take a moment to reflect. What are the beliefs that hold you back? What fears dictate your decisions? What aspects of your identity feel rigid, unquestioned, and unchallenged? This stage of the work requires radical honesty. It demands that we strip away everything that is not truly us, our conditioned responses, societal expectations, and inherited limitations. Practices such as shadow work, deep meditation, or even fasting and solitude can aid in this process. The goal is not destruction, but purification, to burn away what is false so that the truth can emerge. Step 2. The waters of dissolution. Let go of the old structures. After the fire comes the flood. Dissolution is the breaking down of rigid structures, the moment when the boundaries of the self begin to dissolve. This is where deep surrender takes place, where the rational mind loosens its grip, and deeper awareness emerges. In life, dissolution often comes through chaotic moments, times when the structures we relied on fall apart. A job loss, a breakup, a crisis of identity, these are forms of dissolution. But instead of resisting them, alchemy teaches us to embrace them as part of the process. One of the most powerful ways to practice dissolution is through meditative surrender, entering deep states of stillness where identity, labels, and even thoughts fade into the background. Psychedelic traditions, lucid dreaming, and certain forms of breathwork also facilitate this state, though they require careful guidance. To apply this step in your life, ask yourself, What attachments am I clinging to that no longer serve me? Where in my life am I resisting change? Can I allow myself to flow instead of control? Step 3. The marriage of opposites, integration and union. As the structures of the false self dissolve, a new phase begins: conjunction, the unification of opposites. In mythology, this is often represented as the sacred marriage of the sun and the moon, the masculine and feminine, the conscious and unconscious. It is about balance, about seeing that the universe is not a battlefield of dualities, but a dance of complementary forces. In practical life, this is the work of integration. It means recognizing that the good and bad aspects of ourselves are not enemies, but parts of a whole. It means embracing both the light and the shadow, the logic and the intuition, the ambition and the stillness. Practices that facilitate conjunction include journaling or self-reflection exercises where you acknowledge and integrate different aspects of yourself, balancing masculine and feminine energies through mindful action and receptive stillness. Creative expression, as art is one of the greatest ways to unite intellect and emotion, form and chaos. To practice this, ask yourself, how can I integrate both my strengths and my flaws? Where in my life am I out of balance? How can I bring unity into my thoughts, emotions, and actions? Step 4. The crystallization of wisdom, becoming the stone. The final stage is coagulation, where everything comes together. This is where the philosopher's stone is fully realized, not as a physical object, but as a state of being. Here, the seeker becomes the alchemist, the creator of their own reality. Coagulation is the moment when all illusions have fallen away, and what remains is the essence of truth. This is what some call enlightenment, self-mastery, or gnosis. It is not about escaping the world but fully engaging with it, living with clarity, purpose, and an awareness that you are not separate from the universe, but one with it. To cultivate this state, practice presence. Stay fully engaged with each moment, seeing the sacred in the ordinary. Live by higher wisdom. Let your actions reflect the deeper truths you have realized. Teach and share. The final step of the great work is to help others on their path, to pass on the knowledge so that the transformation continues. Ask yourself, what wisdom have I gained from my struggles? How can I embody my highest truth in my daily life? How can I help others on their path of transformation? The true gift of the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone was never about turning lead into gold. It was about turning suffering into wisdom, turning ignorance into enlightenment, turning the mundane into the divine. It is the key to self-realization, the map to transformation, and the secret that the great mystics and sages have whispered across time. And the greatest revelation? The stone was never hidden. It was within you all along, waiting to be uncovered, waiting to be awakened. But now that we understand the path of transformation, a final question remains. How do we bring this wisdom into the world? How can the knowledge of the Philosopher's Stone shape not only individual seekers, but humanity as a whole? Let us conclude our journey with one last revelation. The secret of alchemy is not only personal, it is cosmic. The same forces that shape the evolution of a soul shape the evolution of an entire civilization. Could it be that the entire world is undergoing its own great work? In our final chapter, we will explore the ultimate mystery, the transformation of not just the self, but of reality itself. Throughout this journey, we have unraveled the true meaning of the Philosopher's Stone, not as a mere legend, but as a living truth, hidden in the fabric of existence itself. We have seen how it is not gold that the alchemist seeks, but transformation, the transmutation of the soul from the base to the divine. But what if this process is not limited to individuals? What if all of humanity is undergoing a grand alchemical transformation? What if, at this very moment, civilization itself is being refined in the crucible of time, undergoing its own great work? The world as a great alchemical experiment. If we look at history through the lens of alchemy, we begin to see a pattern: times of destruction followed by rebirth, civilizations rising and falling, knowledge lost and rediscovered. Each era brings a trial by fire, a dissolution of old paradigms, and a rebirth into something new. Consider the world today. We are witnessing the burning away of old structures, economic, political, spiritual. The calcination of the past is in full force. We are experiencing a deep dissolution of certainty. Traditional systems and beliefs are breaking down. We are entering the unknown. The great conjunction is upon us, the merging of ancient wisdom with modern science, the union of spirituality with practicality. And beyond it all, something new is crystallizing, a global awakening, a shift in consciousness, a realization that the world is not separate from us, but an extension of our inner state. Your role in the great work. The Philosopher's Stone is not just about self-transformation, it is about world transformation. Each person who awakens to this truth, who undergoes their own great work, contributes to the larger evolution of humanity. The alchemists of old knew this secret. When you transform yourself, you transform the world. Your clarity, your wisdom, your light, these ripple outward, affecting those around you, shifting the collective consciousness. So, the final question is not just about understanding the Philosopher's Stone. The real question is, will you embody it? Will you step into the fire and allow yourself to be refined? Will you let go of the illusions that keep you bound? Will you merge the opposites within you and stand as a bridge between the material and the divine? Will you crystallize wisdom into action and help bring light into a world on the brink of transformation? Because the truth is, you are the alchemist. The work is happening now, and the stone has always been waiting. The final invitation. The knowledge of the Philosopher's Stone has been hidden in symbols, myths, and allegories for centuries, not to deceive, but to protect. Only those truly ready to undertake the journey will understand its meaning. And now, you have seen behind the veil. You have glimpsed the secret long sought by sages and mystics. But knowledge alone is not enough. The great work is not just to know, but to become. So the question remains, what will you do with this wisdom? The path is before you. The journey begins now. Welcome to the true alchemy. If you found this wisdom valuable, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's embark on this journey together. Subscribe for more deep dives into esoteric knowledge, ancient mysteries, and the practical spirituality that can transform your life.